Hi everyone, Helena here and
Hi.
Kelly, and it feels really familiar to actually be back in these circumstances. Welcome to Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors and coaches build a business on your terms. And as you know, we start with what's the buzz in your business. So as always, we extend the invitation for you to tell us in the comments below, because we really would like to know what's the buzz in your business. And in the meanwhile, we'll tell you the buzz in our business. Yesterday, inside the Connection Hub, which is the group that goes along with this, and Kelly will pop links and stuff in now. We actually created a directory of members, which... because actually we've had a lot of people asking, well, who's a speaker agent? Who's a publisher? What's the web designers? Is there someone who speaks on this topic, that topic? So we thought we'd make it really easy for people, that rather than just seeing post requests everywhere, it actually allows you to just go and look. So for those of you who aren't members of the group, come and join the group, because then you'll be able to find the people that you need as and when. So Kelly's already put the link in because she's very efficient like that. The other thing that's really exciting for us in terms of buzz is that we have now sold out our June Speaker Insight Retreat, which is happening next weekend, which is really exciting. So if you do want to come to the next one, it's in November, and check out the comments, and I'm sure Kelly will put that in there as well, and you can find out all the. See, you're so efficient. It's just wonderful. So what are we talking about this week?
Well, we're talking about one of my favourite topics, and I don't think there's been a Facebook Live that we've done that we haven't mentioned ideal client, or what we also class as is known as avatar, right?
Yes,
not the blue people, but avatar is also another jargon word that is used in marketing terms for who you really want to work with, who your ideal audience is, who your ideal clients are. Yeah. And so everything we've spoken about in our Facebook Live trainings has mentioned ideal client to some level. So we thought, actually, now I'm back from Borneo.
Back from Borneo.
And funnily enough, I didn't get sunburn in Borneo, but God, I got sunburn on the beach in West District at the weekend.
It's just mental.
Stupid, right?
But you do what you do, don't you?
So I thought, while we're here, let's really dive deep into helping you discover your ideal client. We give feedback in the Connection Hub. When people do their introduction posts, we give feedback all the time on how you come across and whether what you're saying in your introduction post is going to land what we think your ideal client is. So we look at it from their perspective and go, actually, you haven't discussed this. I'm not sure if you're the right person for me because of this. Yeah. And that's what we want to cover today, because you guys, as speakers, authors and coaches, are constantly out there networking and you're constantly marketing. Yeah. And a couple of things that we see, especially in the posts in the Connection Hub, a couple of the mistakes that people make are, I think they talk a lot about what they do rather than how you can help the person and what that person's needs are. Yeah. So we see a lot of time that just, I'm a coach in this area, I do this, I've got this program, you can work with me this way, which is all well and good. But actually what you need to do before that is actually to get to know what your avatar wants before you start solving their problems with your services.
Exactly.
Right? And that's whatever we talk about. The one key thing with avatar discovery is to understand their pain points and their aspiration points.
Agreed.
So we're going to go into a lot of detail about this today, and I've also got something
little treat
exciting at the end to tell you about. So
we think it's really exciting, and by the end of this Facebook Live, you will think it's exciting too.
We are geeks, though.
I know, it's true. So bring out your inner geek as you're listening as well.
So let's just talk about some of those mistakes. So I don't want you to fall into the trap of talking just about what you do and not addressing the needs of your avatar and what they want. Yeah. When we do talk about the pain or the aspiration, it's not just saying, oh, my avatar is tired, right? Because it's not descriptive enough. I'm sure everyone watching this Facebook Live has felt tired today, in the past, the last week, whatever. It's not descriptive enough to say, if I was working with somebody and my ideal client had chronic fatigue, for example, and I was a health coach, what I'd want to be talking about is that sort of, You know, you come home from work, every muscle in your body aches. You sit down on the sofa just to catch your breath.
Yeah.
And actually, you're so tired that you can't get up to make yourself a cup of tea. You sit there with mind-numbing television on till 8 o'clock at night, think, God, I should have some food. But again, you're too tired to make anything, so you put some toast in the toaster. Or you won't put toast in the toaster.
No,
you
you
put bread
don't.
in the
You
toaster.
put bread in the toaster. Tired. Still jet lagged?
Still jet lagged. But you put some bread in the toaster, you make yourself that, and then by the time it's 9:30, you have to go to bed. And you do that every day. Now, I don't think everyone on this Facebook Live will associate themselves with that.
Yeah.
So it's the description of the pain that they're in that really helps them go, oh my God. And we get this feedback a lot.
Yeah.
You'll see on some of the comments in Facebook when people are introducing themselves and they watch our intro video, they go, you've got CCTV in my lounge because you know my problems so well.
Yeah.
It's like you're here with me.
Yeah.
So they're like, that's the type of feedback that you want to get.
Agreed.
You want them to feel that you know them so well, that you empathise with them, that you can help them, and that they know that you get them. And it's not just you're selling your services for a marketing gap or whatever.
Agreed.
So talk about their what their needs are rather than what you do. Really embellish on their circumstances, their pain points, and also what their aspiration is. What are they looking for as a solution? And then really going into detail about, let's address the elephant in the room.
Oh, let's.
Right? So what have they tried before? What have they done before that hasn't worked, or maybe given them short-term gain? And how are you different to all of those other services that they've used before? Yeah. This is talking about your positioning piece, your USP, and how you're tackling this problem differently, which gives them a bit of a breath of fresh air. So they go, okay, I've tried the pills, I've tried the diets, I've tried the da-da-da. This person's coming at it from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
So that's a really good way to actually start jolting people and thinking, okay, they get me, they understand me, they are talking about me rather than them, and they're coming up with a different solution. Now, the next thing to do, and I don't see many people do this, is use emotional language, right? So when people are introducing themselves, they're very transactional in what their services are, what the features and benefits are, what the results are. But actually taking that time out to really honour, recognise, empathise with how your avatar is currently feeling, and that real stuck, painful, despair, don't know who to turn to, hello flower, situation. Using that language really actually connects to your audience.
Yeah. It's interestingly enough, I'm thinking about one of the people that is actually watching this live. Sarah, your avatar in this instance is highly likely to be the people who actually give you funding for the projects that you actually do. So using the emotional language that they might actually understand, you know, there's that worry or doubt inside their mind that if they give funding to this, will it be a good use of their money? That type of thing. So it's really about getting into the back of their heads that then allows you to go, what are they feeling right now? What might they be feeling? Yeah. And then naming it, because most of us step away from emotions and try and keep it really clean. But that doesn't actually create connection. Yeah. That simply creates a lot of thinking. And thinking about doesn't solve the problem. You have to engage both parts, don't you?
100%, right? That's what we live in, this information overwhelm world at the moment, where there's data and info and knowledge being thrown at us. Yeah. And actually, it's when we actually connect to people's emotions and how they're feeling that they stop. And actually, that's why cat videos on YouTube do so well, because they actually bring you into, the cute and fluffy stuff, which is actually not the thinking, it's the feeling part. Yeah. So when you're doing your networking and your marketing, it's really bringing in that emotional language to connect. Yeah.
If anybody ever tells you the words, oh my gosh, you just get me, you know you're on it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think don't fall into the trap that you think there's only one avatar for you. Yeah. Because depending on your situation, if you're, say, for example, a coach, then you're going to have your avatar, which is your coaching clients. And there probably are just one, we'll talk about this later, but there's probably one main thread of that avatar. Yeah. But if you're a coach, you might also be a speaker, or you might have coaching clients that are in corporate land rather than your one-to-one clients. Yeah. So they're going to have a different primary pain point than your day-to-day coaching clients. So if you're talking to going to speak at large corporates or to do big SLT meeting, corporate training programs, that's different to your day-to-day SME. Senior leadership team. Sorry, my jargon gets in the way. Then they're going to have different avatars. So I don't want you to think, I need to put it all in one. But you will have a primary audience. You will have the people that you speak to the majority of the time, which is actually what we'll do. Some of the exercises we're going to do on this Facebook Live, I want you to be thinking about.
This is by the way, now is the time to go and get pen and paper, just in case you haven't got it, because it's coming.
So this is a massive topic, right? I don't really want to underestimate the fact that if I work with a client, I would spend at least one whole day discovering that avatar, everything about them. So we're going to take some highlighted points today and go through some of the things that you can start thinking about yourself. But one of the concerns I probably say that people have got is that they say, if I'm going to niche my avatar down to this, what about all the clients that I've got that don't quite meet that description? And I understand completely your concerns, but the point is if the saying, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody, right? So there's no point in having this generalized blanket market speak, which doesn't connect with anybody, doesn't resonate, doesn't make them feel, oh my God, she's describing me. We want to talk to that person, and there might be people that are slightly outside that description, but they're going to also be appealed to the pain point or the aspiration that you're talking about, even though the description of the circumstance is different, that they still want the same thing. So we call those people, you talk to this hub, your core people, and the people that are on the outside is called the halo effect. So they might not be the age or the gender that you're actually describing in your avatar, but because they want the same thing, they're still attracted.
And so Kay Freeman is on here at the moment, and she's saying interesting because her issue is exactly that she's got more than one avatar. And Kay, I would suggest that there's still a core thing that they come to you for, which is speaking gigs, right? So you can start with that. And actually, you can even start to section out some of that, because the stresses and strains of actually getting that gig or finding the people or the stages that people are wanting, that's still going to be the golden thread that runs through everything, right? So there's still going to be a commonality because of what you do. Because what we're encouraging you to do is, of course, be your own unique self with your own unique viewpoint. So there is going to be a topic and a theme that might then get varied depending on the nuances of the audience.
And for Kate, I feel your pain being a speaker agent as well. So when you talk with the people that are booking the gigs, the conferences, the corporates, for example, then they have the problem that sometimes the speakers aren't up to scratch, so they're not prepared, they're not open to be flexible with their keynotes, they don't have any show reels to demonstrate their expertise and things like that. So then when you're talking to the actual speakers themselves, this is the common thread that, well, I know what corporates want, you don't know how to get corporate gigs, so this is the solution in the middle that actually pleases both of your avatars.
Woohoo.
So you can think about it that way, as aspiration as well as pain points. But let's go into a bit of discovery about some key points that we want you to start thinking about to really start nailing your avatar.
And some of these, so here's the thing, even if you've done the avatar exercise supposedly to death, or you've done some of this before, do it again. Because actually you're a new you and you get new insights on a regular basis, so you can begin to build those in. And actually working with where your avatar's at today, right now, your thinking may well be informed by something else. So even if you did it 3 months ago, play full out every single time you think about who is it I serve. So,
and also we said this morning, that you and your avatar is always changing. Right? So we have new platforms that come up on technology every day. So there might be a new platform that they start hanging out on. There are new things that are technology-wise that they might start using, and trends, and so you need to keep this information up to date so that you're not just thinking, well, this is my avatar, but the last time we did this was 1996. Right? So the technology and the platforms and the things that they talk about, it's all different.
Agreed. So let me talk you through some of the things you could do to help you get a lot clearer about your avatar. So the first thing is, as a speaker, author, or coach, it's highly likely that you are often your avatar yourself. Now, it might be you're a little bit further forward, you've done some solutions, you've gone through the journey, so you can speak with experience from that place. The thing about that is as we progress as human beings, we have a tendency to forget what it was like when we experienced the thing that you're helping people with.
Especially that emotional language bit, right? So we knew we were stuck, but we didn't know what we thought was the solution that we were Googling. So we thought this was the answer and we were looking for things, but actually when you've actually experienced it, that wasn't the solution. What you are now teaching or coaching about is.
Now, the great thing for you, because you are, hi Joe, the great thing for you is because you are speakers, authors, coaches, the chances are that some of you have done journaling and that type of thing. So you can go back and actually use your own language, your own situation, so that it expands on not just stuck, it's actually whatever the language you were using, as Kelly was just saying. So with that in mind, it's a great place to reflect on is, where is that person and where was I when I was having that problem? Where was my thinking at? Where was my feeling at?
The
right?
real early stages,
That's
right?
it.
Because we forget that, and what we both
and we
find
make assumptions.
is that people come in with a solution that's actually at stage 4 when they
not
needed
stage
to
1.
do stage 1 because they take all this stuff, stage 1, 2 and 3 as common sense and common knowledge, when actually that's what they've forgotten, that they didn't know that at the beginning of their journey.
And what you think of as, well, this would be the great starting point for you, is actually almost too aspirational for where they're at.
Too big a leap.
So, what's the tiniest thing that you can actually do for them? And that's about really getting to understand, how do they feel about things right here, right now for them, right?
And I think we used the example in a couple of it was on the How to Do a Facebook Live one.
That's right.
We took for granted, we were talking about all these things about technology and how to do a Facebook Live. And the most common question is, where do I look on the iPhone when I'm doing a Facebook Live? Where's the camera, right? So this is the type of example I mean about the questions they're asking that you're taking for granted that is common sense.
Agreed.
Right?
Totally agreed. Just checking to see who else is around if there are any questions. Now, the second thing to kind of really bear in mind is, so I'm going to go technical words for you for a minute. There are, you can lay out your avatar around the demographics, the things that you know about them that are tangibles, how much they're earning, are they male, are they female, what age they are, etc. And also, and those things are important to know. They're vital, in fact, and they're not the end all and be all. And a lot of the time, when you're at networking things, that's what you describe. If someone does have the wherewithal to ask you, who are you looking for? You describe it in demographics. And actually, that's too general. So where you want to go is what they call the psychographics, the kind of the psychological profile, the mix of, what are they reading? What are they watching? What's going on inside them, as we've just been saying? Because those things, what are their hobbies? How do they spend their time? Those are the things that are going to allow you to have an inroad into the conversation again, right?
It's about being able to spot your avatar.
Yeah.
So, okay, yes, we've got the gender and where they live and their age. We can easily sort of categorize people like that.
Yeah.
But when you actually say, where they're shopping, where they eat out, you can distinguish people because they're Waitrose shoppers rather than Iceland shoppers, right?
I went Lidl.
Oh, okay. But as soon as I say those two different shops, you've automatically started to separate your friends of who would shop in each one.
That's right.
Then their interests and their hobbies, because it's when you talk about your product or your service, rather than just always searching the keywords that you're about, like leadership or health coach or whatever it might be, if you actually looked at salsa dancers who have got chronic fatigue or have got tiredness problems, then you can actually start thinking, well, how have they got the energy to, what's the salsa dancing doing for them? And how can I start putting some posts or some context in the salsa dancing group as a coach to say, well, this is how I can help you guys, and connect with them on something that isn't directly relating to what you're helping them with, but actually looking at them as a person and how their world is made up and what makes them unique, right?
And part of that is, now back to language, part of that is what is the sort of where are they actually hanging out? So if you start to hang out, if you know what their hobbies are and you start to hang out in dancing groups, for example, you'll start to understand the kind of language and how they use that language, how they ask their questions. They might be more, what do I do, rather than how do I do things, people. That actually becomes a really important thing. That's actually in there. You have a little read. There's something that's just popped up. So when you use their phrases, and a great thing to do, the geeks in us do this, a great thing to do is to really, because we care about really getting the message through, is to actually start to read a post in a group that your avatar hangs out in. Don't just read one sentence. Have a look at the whole of it and just start to go, right, okay, this is how they're thinking about it. This is what they're feeling. And these are the words that they use. Go pull those out, put them in a document so that you really do begin to connect or reconnect, as we say, back to how it was for you when you didn't know the answer.
And forums are a great place to actually work out the questions that people are asking and the language that Helena just said. So Quora is a great place to actually start looking in your industry and your terminology to see what are the questions that people are answering. And basically, you go through that and you scrape all the data, as Helena says, and they become your blog posts. They become... Yeah. Oh, I said scrape.
Yeah. So two things. Quora, for a start, Quora.
I'll put it in.
I'm just going to go and put that in here, which is one of the forums that she was talking about. I'm just picking Kelly up, as you do. And scraping is literally, if you're making a cake, for those of you that do that, and you're scraping the bowl, that's what you're doing. You're scraping the language. And the questions, and the questions, and putting them in a document. So imagine they're in a bowl and you're scraping them up. So keep going.
So forums are a great place to hang out in, to get that language, to get the content, the questions that are asking, that you can then transform into content.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about kind of how you connect with it, and more on that in a moment. But what do you do? What can you do with all of that information once you've got it? Yeah. Well, there are several things, and this is a non-exhaustive list, so there are many, many, many more things you can do, but we'll highlight a couple of them. The first thing is definitely you can target them. And what do I mean by that? So what they're like.
Jargon now.
Target. Okay. so this is actually, you can find them. So in your advertising, you're teasing, in your advertising, you can actually start to identify them. If you're using Facebook ads, you can start to really take a look at where are those people hanging out. You can start to cleverly use the language that they're using so that those... the features that they're looking for, the things that they're looking for, you can actually start to show up in those places. So that's one of the first things you can do.
And that's what, if anyone was on our Facebook Live last week with Vince, right? He was talking about how to use Facebook advertisement. This is so key. He was talking about the layering that you can do when you're doing targeted advertisement. Yeah. So you've got your demographics that Helena was saying about the age and the gender and where they live and their employment status. But then if you layer that with their hobbies, or the people that they follow because they find them inspirational, like Anthony Robbins or whoever. So they're a fan of Anthony Robbins, they're salsa dancers, they're vegans, all these types of things about them. Then you create this gorgeous lookalike audience on Facebook that you only put your adverts in front of that group of people because they are your ideal clients, right? Exactly. And you know that your stuff's going to land for them because all these things make up this beautiful picture of who they are. Yeah. And that means your adverts cost less because they're not being spread across thousands of people. Yeah. And then the conversion ratios are often really good because they want your stuff and you want them. Yeah. So it makes your life so much easier.
Totally does. So the second thing that you can actually do with this information is, or it's sort of a half and half one, the case studies that you have, the testimonials that you get, 9 times out of 10, the testimonials are actually using the language that your avatar is using, and your testimonials, especially if they're video ones or written ones, can actually speak to the avatar through, in effect, the third source, through the person who's just been in that situation and has just come out of it. So they are absolute gold dust, and if you're not asking for a testimonial after everything you do, you deserve a slap from me. So that's one thing.
And once you've got that, once you know the circumstance of that journey of where they are, where they want to be, the things they've tried and tested, and how your thing really worked for them. That's a great thing of doing a case study on that person.
Correct.
Because that person will then go, oh my God, Jane sounds just like I am. And if she could do it in that time scale with that amount of effort and money, and now look at her and where she's at, I want that. It's much more powerful than you telling people what you can do when you can show them what you can do and how someone just like them has done it themselves.
And the great thing, again, as speakers, authors and coaches, you'll potentially have the ability to do this. If you can't quite remember what it was like for you, I bet you can remember what it's like for your clients. So even if you were thinking about doing a case study or you thought about a particular client, you can probably take yourself back 6 or 7 sessions to what their first session was like as a coach that allows you to connect into, oh, that's where they're at. This is the language that I need to put it into. So it's kind of a trick, sneaky way of getting back in there to the user journey that somebody's gone on. So even if you're not using it as an official case study, it's kind of my tricksy way of just going back in and checking in. Have I got everything I need in there? Now, the other thing you can do, which we really love doing, is of course to hang out in the Facebook groups where they hang out. Now, they might not be Facebook, it might be on LinkedIn, but usually the Facebook thing is wonderful because conversations happen and you can actually go in there and start to become a knowledgeable resource, become and share the expertise that you actually have, answer their questions, give advice, build the rapport and the trust that you know you can actually build because you know how to support them.
Just start showing up. Basically. So you become a visible character, and when they see you regularly going, God, that was a bit of good information, oh, she's up again, that was a good... Who is this person?
They
go back to your, and this is a really good thing to make sure you've got. They will go back to your personal profile.
Yes.
Because you can only talk as an individual in groups. You can't talk as a page, right? So they go back to your profile. Please make sure in your description on your profile that you've got the name of your company linked to your Facebook page.
Correct.
Right? So they'll go, oh, she works for this. Click on there. And then on your Facebook page, it's got all of the details, all your Facebook lives, like ours. Check out our Speaker Insight one. And then it's got a little thing saying join your group. So then they join your group, right? So that's the nice looped user journey.
Because the chances are that they want more of you anyway, because that's why they've gone through the effort of actually just check you out, right?
And so my other top tip with the Facebook group thing is maybe do some research, find out where your avatar hangs out, then choose 3 to 5 Facebook groups that you're going to rock up for half an hour a day, whether it's when you wake up in the morning, when you're in the bath at night. So you're going to spend half an hour a day in these...
Use your phone in the bath?
All the time. So choose 3 to 5. My top tip is that look to see if these people have got, about 5,000 members in the group, because then it's a nice cohort for you to actually work with. But when you look at the group, I want you to see if the posts have got engagement. If they've got no likes and no comments, it means it's a pretty dead community, right? So you want to make sure that whatever you say in there is going to be heard and seen and interacted with other people. So you choose 3 to 5 with about 5,000 plus members with a lot of engagement on posts, and you just read the last 24 hours. You just scroll down the feed and you go, okay, is there anything I can add value to, answer a question, add some insight into? And sometimes some groups have promo days in there and you can put your post up there, but it's just about rocking up. And some days you might not have anything to add, that's fine. But it's just about being active, being visible, and showing up in those key groups that your avatar's in.
Agreed. So I'm laughing because, Kay, I am actually going to read this out, Kay. Could you stop being so interesting and engaging? I have a client but can't stop watching. Hilarious. Thank you, Kay. And this is exactly what we mean. It's like, how can you be of service? That's really the question that actually kind of comes in when you are showing up in those places. And, does it sound strategic? Yes, that's the whole point, because actually building a business on your terms for us is about you not holding things together with a set of sticky tape tactics. It is about being strategic about how do I spend my time and my energy? Where do I need to go and hang out so that I can be of service, so that I can be of further service potentially when they actually find you? So we've already talked about using your language, using their language, when we're speaking like this. we're also inviting you to use emotive and their language on your website, in your copy, anywhere that someone is going to read about you and connect with you. That is where you need to be putting something that allows them to go, oh,
that sounds like me.
Yeah. Yeah,
I said that the other day.
Me, and it's that. And in the sales calls that you do, you want to be doing the same thing. Now, the other thing you can do, once you know your avatar really well, you can create surveys for them. Like, that allows them to learn so much, or you to learn so much more about their own wants and needs. And actually, I don't think that was a faux pas, actually. It was like, that allows them to learn so much about them. We all love to do a quiz. Put your hand up if you love to do a quiz. It's like honey to bees, sort of we go in. And actually, quizzes in themselves can be educational, not just for you, but for them, to actually help establish where in the user journey they are. But you can also find out how they like to consume their information, right?
And that's the key, right? So if you're in these 3 to 5 Facebook groups, a lot of the time you're not allowed to promote anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time people will allow you to do surveys, polls, quizzes. So use Typeform or SurveyMonkey or even Facebook polls, right? And actually just gives you a bit more understanding. So, how do you like to consume information, as Helena said? Is it ebooks? Is it online courses? Is it one-to-one coaching? Is it masterclasses? Is it retreats? Or tell me, out of this thing, what is your biggest pain point at the moment? And then they rate themselves. It's just to really get some insight into what should you be doing your content about, what should you be creating products about, and what should your marketing language be about.
What's concerning them at the moment, what's actually kind of going on for them that they've hooked onto, that you go, okay, well, what could I create with the knowledge that I have, with the insight that I have, with the wisdom that I have? What could I create that supports and, allows that to become easier for them? And
I'm going to refer you back to go and watch our how to do a product launch. Test your product before you launch it, Facebook Live, which is all about seed launching, because this is how you use your avatars to create products. So go back to our previous lives and have a look at that. So I'm aware it's past. I know that I could probably go on for hours about this topic, but it's a really important one, and we do want to support you further. Okay, we want to help you as much as we can. We'll still give you feedback in the Connection Hub post when you do your introductions. But what we're really excited as our moment is we are going to run a Facebook Avatar 5-day challenge.
Woohoo!
So we want you to type in the comments below, I'm in. If you're up for this. It's going to start next Monday, which is Monday the 11th. And every day we're going to set you an aspect of your avatar to go and find out, to research, and then post back in the Connection Hub, so that you're doing the work. We know you're doing the work. Some of your findings will inspire others. And you'll probably be inspired by people's findings. But also, some of you, I know, have got your avatar in our group, right? We've got nearly 1,000 members in there now. So we've got, we will need to get it to 1,000 next week, right? 30 more members.
Invite people in. Invite a person.
But
just because we're excited.
Every day we'll tag you. If you put I'm in the comments, we'll tag you in the post, and we'll give you a new challenge for the next 5 days from Monday to Friday. And then we'll see. This is going to help you get real clarity on your avatar, give you some assets, some tangible walk away practical things that you can start doing in your marketing to help you build your database.
Will it take me very long every day, Kelly?
What, to do the avatar challenge? It depends. Depends how deep you want to go, right? I spend a day on this subject. So we definitely want you to walk away with some raised awareness and things you can then use in your marketing copy.
Truly.
To actually discover your avatar.
The suggestion is going to be, because we of course know what's coming, but we're not going to tell you until you join in on Monday. The suggestion is going to be that you use every single day the knowledge that you gain through the question that we ask, that you go and use that for good, so you can go and find out even more. Because as we said, the biggest thing that we want you to understand around your avatar is it is an ongoing research piece. It is not a thing that you do once, like your website. It's not a thing you do once. It's a, consistent maintenance piece that actually allows you to get deeper and deeper connected to the people that you really want to serve. And how does it get any better than that? So, on that note...
So whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the replay, please put in the comments, I'm in, and we will make sure that we'll tag you from Monday onwards. We're going to be doing some more promo around this, obviously, in the Connection Hub. So if you're not a member of the Connection Hub, click the link. I've seen a couple of people join since we've been on this live. So we'll come and welcome yourself and introduce yourself in there, and we'll give you feedback.
Yes, please. And Kay, get back to work. See you
Have
later.
a good week. See you.
Bye.